All right, here's today's deal. We're going in reverse. And you now have to tell me or prove to me why lines are parallel. Okay, so in the proof statement today, when we get to one, in a couple minutes, when we get to one, in the proof statement will be proof these lines are parallel. Before we get to a proof, though, I need you to be able to tell me, if I tell you these angles are congruent, what lines will be parallel. So look at example number 8 first there. All right, example number 8. I am telling you 1 is congruent to 2. So this is why I've given you the colored pencils. They're optional. You don't need to use them. But watch, I'm going to highlight angle 1, and I'm going to highlight angle 2. The two angles they tell me are congruent. My next question, do they have a line in common? Do they have a transversal in common? Yes, they do. What transversal do they have in common here? 21. What transversal do they have in common? U. Which means if they have a transversal in common, they have to be a special type. Corresponding, alternate interior, same side exterior, whatever we've talked about in the last 2 days. So yes, 1 and 2 have a special relationship. What are they? Those are 28? Corresponding. And if they're congruent, that means I have a set of lines that are parallel. You guys just told me U was the common transversal. What's the other 2 lines that make up angles 1 and 2? Because they're going to be the parallel lines. What are the other 2 lines that make up 1 and 2? 20? So R is parallel to S because 1 and 2 are congruent. Justified. Remember what we wrote in the reasons column yesterday? Parallel lines imply whatever? Flip it. Flip it now. I have what type of angles again? Ready? Corresponding angles, and that's not good enough just to write corresponding angles. What do I know about those 2 angles? Congruent, or you could put the congruent out first, implies, what am I going to put last now? Parallel lines. Yes, parallel lines. Go ahead and mark the next ones. Go ahead, mark number 9.
I give you 25 kids in 8th period class?
28.
I'm sorry.
28. Thank you. I know the card. That gift card wasn't done.
No,
We appreciate it.
no, I don't need anything
So,
like that.
here's the best. And I owed you that anyway. So, all right. Nice, buddy. I appreciate it. Okay. Yep. All right. Next up, number 9. Two and 9. Highlight them. 2, 9. Do they have a transversal in common? Yes, no? Yes. What is the transversal that they have in common up here? 20 again. S in common. So they got to be something special. Meaning the other 2 lines, which are what? If they have S in common, what are the other 2 lines that make it up? Going back to 28. So U must be parallel to V. If they have a transversal in common, some set of lines are going to be parallel. What type of angles are 2 and 9 now? You got to go back, dig up. These are ones we haven't talked about frequently. 2 and 9 are, here we go, 15? Good. So here we go. Alternate exterior angles. And to be honest, this next part is the biggest one. You got to tell me they're what? You leave out the congruent, that's a false statement. Congruent imply parallel lines. And again, if you want to put the congruent first, that's fine. They have to have a transversal in common to be parallel. All right, I'm going to skip around because you guys are going to finish this as a group. Let me go to number, 14. Let's skip to 14 now. Three congruent to 7. Highlight it if you have to. 3 and 7. Any transversal in common? Well, look, ready? 7, say it out loud if you have to. 7's made up of R and V. 3 is made up of U and S. Did I say anything in common? So guess what? They don't have a relationship, meaning if 3 is congruent to 7, great. I don't have any parallel lines though, because 3 and 7 do not have a special relationship because they don't share a transversal. They have to share a transversal to be special. And I know some people say, well, they have T in common. Angle 7 isn't part of T. All right, it's part of R and V. Same thing with angle 3. It's made up of U and S. That's it. All right, questions? You got the rest. Let's go. I'm going to give you a solid 2-3 minutes. You got the rest. Here, hey, to make it go quick, if your answer is yes, just put the lines that are parallel. I don't need you to write the reason. I want this to go quick. So just tell me what lines are parallel, if any. Let's go. Let's go. Everyone's contributing. See, but all the answers were yes here. So you should be giving me a parallel line. So other than the 14 we went over, the ones I had you go over in your group, all the answers were yes, they form these parallel lines. So number 1, let me know the lines that are parallel, and 2, let me know what type of angles you were given. All right, so number 10, 5 was congruent to 7. What lines were parallel? Let's start with 14. What lines were parallel? 5 and 7? Because those angles were alternate interior angles, correct. 5 and 7 were alternate interior. 11, here we go. What lines were parallel with number 11? 4? R and S. They gave you 7 and 8 were supplementary because 7 and 8 are? Same side interior. So that's right. That's okay because if I put they were congruent, that wouldn't have meant anything to me. I need to tell you they're supplementary because they're same side interior. Perfect. Let's go to 12 here. What lines are parallel? 2. Number 12. What lines are parallel?
U and V.
U and V. They give you 3 and 6 are supplementary, and 3 and 6 are? Same side interior again. 13. 3 and 5 are congruent. So what lines are parallel? 28.
U and V.
U and V. Perfect. Because 3 and 5 are? Alternate interior. Great job. And then finally, number 15. If 4 is congruent to 5, 26, what lines are parallel?
R and S.
R and S. Because 4 and 5 are?
Alternate interior.
Uh,
Same side interior.
they're not interior because
sorry.
4 is on the outside.
Are they corresponding?
They are corresponding, right? One's inside, one's outside, makes them corresponding. Any issues there before we start 2 proofs? Okay, if you got to use the colored pencils, use them. You can use them on any test or quiz if you have your own too. That's fine. All right, let's do this. I'll go ahead, mark your diagram, get your statements, reasons, and then we'll come back and talk. And the colored pencils are for you to use on the diagram, not for you to do statements, reasons. Okay, got them marked, got the statements, reasons in. Here's what I need you to get in the habit of. If I ask you to prove 2 lines are parallel, I need you to do this first. Look at those 2 lines right now, ST and UV. And I need you to find a special pair of angles using those lines. What do I mean? Again, anytime I say special pair, what do I mean? Corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, you get it. So using these 2 lines, can you find 2 angles that we classify as special angles? So angles blank and blank are this type of angles. Can you find those? And please use the numbered angles. That would be great. Let's not introduce angle U there. That's not numbered. Do you see any special types? What do you got, Claire?
Angle 2 and 3 are alternate.
Everyone agree 2 and 3 are alternate interior? Yeah? And Claire, what do we usually know about alternate interiors? They should be what? There's my first job. There is your first job is, before we do this, first thing we need to do is take those alternate interior angles and get them congruent. Because if you can get them congruent, the lines are parallel. It's just one more step in your proof. So can you get 2 congruent to 3 without mentioning anything about parallel lines? Can you get 2 congruent to 3? And don't tell me, wait, they're already congruent because they're alternate interior. No, they're not. You need parallel lines for that, and I don't have that. Can you, some other way, without mentioning parallel lines, can you get 2 congruent to 3? Look in your givens, please. Look in your givens. How can I use the givens to get to 2 congruent to 3? 15? Okay, 2 and 1 are equal. 1 and 3 are equal. We've been down this road the last 2 units. That makes 2 and 3 equal by substitution. Oh, 2 and 3 are equal, and they're alternate interior. Put those 2 together, and that makes ST and UV parallel to each other. So identify a special pair first. All right, let's see if you got this. What am I going to write my reasons? Why are they parallel? Here we go. 22. What type of angles do I have?
Same side interior.
When did that come up at all during this proof? What we just proved 2 congruent to 3. Look on your diagram. 2 and 3 are what type of angles? Okay, are they inside or outside my lines?
Inside.
Okay, are they on opposite sides or the same side?
Opposite.
Okay, or alternate. So what do we call them?
Alternate interior.
Alternate interior angles. And what did we just prove about them? Because I'm still missing a key term here.
They're congruent.
Thank you. Congruent. Imply, what do I have now?
Parallel lines.
There we go. Reverse of what I would have written yesterday. Identify a special pair, get them congruent. And then it's one extra step. All right, you better buckle up now. Buckle up. Go ahead, mark your diagram, get your statements, reasons set up. First thing, you're proving 2 lines parallel. Find a special pair of angles that need to be congruent. Discuss it in your group right now. And I'll call on a group here. If it's got to use KM and LM. Name a special pair of angles formed by KM and LM, please. Find a special pair of angles formed by KM and LM that we're going to need to prove congruent first.
Yeah.
Name a special pair of angles. Okay, where are they up here? Where are the special angles formed by line segment KM and line segment LN? Where are they? 2?
I don't know.
What's that?
I think 3 and 4.
Okay, here you go. Ready? Here's angle 4, which is on LN, and here's angle 3, which is on KN. I need KM. The angles you picked, angle 3 is not on either line. I'm trying to prove congruent.
4 and 2.
Okay, how about 4 and 2? Because they're what type of angles?
Corresponding.
All right, so if as a group right now, here's our goal. Get 4 congruent to 2. That's our goal. If we can do it, the lines are parallel. All right, so how do we get them there? And look, you got to use the givens to get there. You got to use the givens. Right now, can I use substitution on these two?
No.
No, thank you. You don't have any repetition, so that's out. So let's go to this given right here. JM is parallel to KM. JM, KN. Any angles equal up there because those two are parallel. Don't yell anything out. Look at it. JM and KN are parallel, making these two angles equal. Any angles equal because they're parallel. 3. Angles 1 and 3 are congruent because they are what type of angles? Corresponding. So I'm going to say ruined it. I ruined it because this is where we start separating the group here. What's my reason going to be? What's my reason going to be why 1 and 3 are congruent? 23. Who's got? What are they, Maddie? What are they again? 1 and 3 are what type of angles?
I don't know.
Okay, ready? Here are my parallel lines. Is 1 located inside or outside?
Inside,
Where's 3 located?
outside.
So if 1's inside, 1's outside, I can't say exterior or interior.
So close.
So they're corresponding. What did you know about the lines to begin with? So just like yesterday, I start this with parallel lines imply. Keep going, Maddie. What else?
Corresponding angles are congruent.
Thank you. There we go. So 1 and 3 are equal because those lines are parallel. I need 4 and 2 though. I need 4 and 2. How am I going to wrap a nice bow around these bad boys to get 4 and 2? How many congruent quantities are now listed in your proof? 3. And I know many of you are starting to think about the substitution train coming in. But substitution can only be used on how many at a time? 2. Not all 3 at a time, 2. So I'm going to ask somebody right now, pick 2 of these right now. Pick 2 of them to use substitution on. Tell me what 2 you're choosing. What 2 are you choosing? 5, what 2 are you choosing to do substitution on?
Angle 1 and 4. Wait. Angle 1 is equal to angle 3, and angle 3 is equal to angle 4.
Okay, so you're using those 2.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I needed. Good job. All right, using those 2. Now, some of you may have used the first one and the third one. That's fine, but we're using these 2. If 3 equals 4 and 1 equals 3, tell me what angles are equal now. Using those 2 only. 26, which 2 angles are equal now?
Angle 1, angle 4.
Angle 1 congruent to angle 4, and that is a substitution. Number 1. Now use the one I haven't used. 1 congruent to 2 has not been used. And you just wrote down 1 congruent to 4. Put those 2 together using substitution now, and tell me what angles are equal. 1 and 2 are equal, 1 and 4. So by substitution, 22.
1 and 4.
1 and 4, I already have that written down.
Oh.
1 and 2 are equal. I have not used that given. 1 and 4 are equal.
4 and 2.
4 and 2. Again, by a second substitution. And what was our goal at the beginning to get?
Parallel to LN.
Well, even before that, what was our first goal?
To get
4 and 2. There it was. That's how I got 4 and 2. Double substitution. Now that 4 and 2 are equal, guess what? KM and LN are parallel. Woohoo! Not off the hook yet. Why? Why are they parallel? 12. Ooh! Thank you. Gotta have that. Yep. Imply. There you go. Whew. Every proof you do tonight, there's a box there. You got to fill in what angles need to be congruent first. All right, and get them some other way than saying parallel lines. I would use this 15 minutes here to your advantage. All right, let's get rolling. You want to start on your?
Sure.
It's up to you. You don't have to wait.
I mean, sure, I can.
All right, yeah. Save time, right?
Oh, I'll give you time.